researcher at SETA Foundation, who joins us live from Ankara. Just on that very point of the relationship being reset between the US and Türkiye right now, is that your impression?
Well, we all hope, everyone hopes that this will instigate a kind of, or pave the way for a kind of rapprochement or a reset in the relations. And this does not only go for the Turkish-US relation. This also goes for Turkish-Greek relations too. And there's a historical precedent for that. We all know, we all listen to the records that in 1999 earthquake, the earthquake helped Turkiye and Greece mending their ties then, and they maintained a good atmosphere in their bilateral relations for a couple of years. So a similar of this experience is expected to be replicated in Turkish-American relations, in Turkish-Greece relations, and maybe in Turkish-Armenian relations too. So this is the expectation. There was a ground for that. There was a historical precedent, but at this point, it is yet to be seen how this will pan out. Yes, there is this willingness and desire, but at the same time, even by looking at the agenda in the presser between Blinken and Çavuşoğlu, all sorts of foreign policy and diplomatic issues were mentioned. So the life goes on, so does the politics, and I think unless the foundations, the basics of the nature of the bilateral relations are unchanged, it is very optimistic to expect that there will be a new page in the relation.
Just want to pick up on what you said, that life goes on and so does the politics. With regards to earthquake relief, $185 million now pledged by the US. We've heard Antony Blinken say they will do whatever it takes for as long as it takes to help Turkey. But how sustainable will that aid be going forward from the US to Turkey, given that so many natural disasters or wars compete for US assistance?
Well, one can only hope for the continuation of this kind of help from the United States, because Turkey can use help from anyone, from anywhere. It can get these helps because of the enormity of the catastrophe that hit Turkey in southern Turkey. But at the same time, as you said, there was a competition for these resources. So Turks and Turkish decision makers would only expect more from the United States because the United States, the enormous GDP. There are other countries who have already enormous amounts of aid to Turkey. So seeing the United States pledging this amount is not a surprise for Turkish people, because based on the GDP, actually, Turkish people are expecting more from the United States as per their GDP.
Indeed. And Bilgehan, this was Antony Blinken's first visit to Turkiye. And just talk to us about how important you think it was that he actually saw that devastation firsthand, not just on a TV screen, right? It's going to stay in his mind. He saw what that rubble looks like, what Hatay looks like right now.
That's why the visits, not only to Ankara, because this was a part of a pre-planned strategic partnership meeting, but at the same time he touched base in Hatay, in Adana, and he saw himself with firsthand. And I believe on personal level and psychological level, this will have an impact on him. And Blinken will be, of course, in Washington D.C. Not everyone are on the same page with one another. There are nuances among them in terms of their approach to Turkey, the issues that are of concern between Turkish and American relations. So I believe Blinken will be one of the individuals or figures in the Washington D.C. that will be much more favorable to Turkey's concerns, given that he saw what Turkey is going through. Of course, this will create some kind of, or increase the existing sympathy that he has towards Turkiye, and I think there are some issues like the purchase of the F-16, the clearing of the sale of F-16 to Turkiye, and we already know that Blinken is one of the few figures that are in favor of the clearing.
And just remind us, but Bilgehan, why is that stuck? Why is that not moving in Congress? And could this goodwill, this momentum that we're seeing right now, earthquake diplomacy, push that along? As we heard one of the journalists say there during that press conference with Mevlut Çavuşoğlu and Antony Blinken, what is the US waiting for on this point of F-16s?
If it was up to the United States government, probably it will be much easier, but it is not. Unfortunately, all foreign sales, strategic defense sales are subject to U.S. Congress approval, and U.S. Congress is unfortunately and traditionally been anti-Turkey because of the lobbies of Greek and Armenian lobbies, which are traditionally and historically antagonistic to Turkey. So these lobbies predominantly are influential over the decisions of the U.S. Congress. So they are playing their part in this. So that is why it is basically stuck at this phase. But at the same time, there are differences between Turkish and U.S. governments too. So in a way, U.S. Congress is doing part of U.S. government's job in delivering the message of disapproval, of displeasure to Turkey. So I'm sure that Blinken is in favor of the sale of F-16, but at the same time, I'm sure the U.S. government is feeling relaxed that U.S. Congress is doing the heavyweight in terms of tying or in terms of increasing the conditions or criteria to clear the sale of the F-16.
We'll leave it there, but thank you so much for your analysis and your time. Bilgehan Ozturk, researcher at the SETA Foundation, live there from Ankara. Thank you.
Thank you.